Hi, I'm Natalia Bonner. Welcome to Let's Stitch a Year of Stars Piecing Edition. All right, we are on to month 4. Today I'm going to be piecing the Mosaic star, and I am going to be using 3 fat quarters to piece this block. Throughout this whole entire piece along, I am actually just using fat quarters. I use a total of 18 fat quarters to make this all the blocks for this. Obviously, I am going to use some yardage to put together the quilt, but today we're using just 3 fat quarters. Now, if you do check out the piecing workbook, it is the pattern that has the step-by-step directions how to make this block. You can pick that up over on our website, pieceandquilt.com, but you'll want to grab that and follow all of the cutting instructions in that workbook, and then you'll be ready to start sewing along. I'll start out today by using one of my light pink and one of my warm pink squares, the 2.5 inch squares, and I'm going to sew those together, right sides together. Now, I am sewing here on my adorable little Featherweight. If you do want to know more about this fun machine, I do have information about it in the description below, so that's where you can find out about that. Now, as we're sewing along today, I love to chain piece. So this first step, even though we're going to start with just one block, I know that we're going to make a total of 4 of these, so I am going to chain piece all 4 of them right now. So once I've pieced 4 of those, then I'm going to cut those apart and press. I am going to press towards the dark. Now you'll see here as I'm pressing, I like to use just a little bit of the flatter on it. I love the way that the flatter just makes my blocks lay flat. And I like to always press towards the dark. So that's what you're definitely going to see me doing here. Now, referring to the images in the workbook, I'm next going to sew a light pink 2.5 by 4.5 inch strip to the side of that unit that I've just created. Now again, I know that I need 4 of these, so I'm going to chain piece. All right, once I have those 4 sewn together, again, I'm going to cut those apart and press again. This time though, I am going to think about pressing towards the dark. Now you can pick up the flatter and the thread and many other notions that I'm using here today over on our website, pieceandquilt.com. Also, if you want to learn more about machine quilting, I actually am sharing with you step by step for a whole entire year how to machine quilt these blocks. So make sure you also check out those. So now you should have 4 units that look like this. Once we have those done, let's set those aside, and now we're going to make some flying geese units. We are actually going to make 4 units that have the light pink background with the green or blue corners, And then we'll also make 4 that are the opposite. So we'll start out, I have already gone through and used the blue Mark Begun marker and marked that point to point line. Back to chain piecing, I'm going to go. So I'm going to lay my fabric right on top of the corner of the 2.5 by 4.5 inch strip and sew right along that marked line. So I'll repeat that process on all 4 of those units, sewing on one side. And now, while I'm chain piecing, let's do those pink ones with the green or blue, whichever color you're using, squares on those. Once I have those top 2.5 inch squares sewn on all of those 2.5 by 4.5 inch strips, I'll cut those apart. And now I'm going to trim all of those units 1/4 inch on the outside of my stitching. Now I'll press those units. Again, making sure that I press towards the dark. So on some of these, I will press towards the outside of the block, and some of them I'm going to press towards the inside, pressing towards the dark. Once I have those pressed, then I'm going to repeat that process on the opposite side of those blocks. Again, I'll be chain piecing. So once I have all of those units sewn, now again, I'm going to cut them apart, trim 1/4 inch on the outside, and then pressing towards the dark. Now I'm going to sew those flying geese units together. So I'm going to place one of the light flying geese units and one of the dark flying geese units together like this, and then we'll sew them together. We're going to make 4 of those units. Once I have all 4 of those units sewn together, then again, we're going to press. This time we're going to press towards the dark. So you should have 4 units that look like that. We're going to press up. Once you have all of those units sewn together and pressed, we're ready to start putting our block together. We're going to start out making the center unit. This is my center block. We are going to sew one of those flying geese units to both sides of that center unit. Once we've sewn one, then we'll take it off and sew one of those flying geese units to the opposite side. So now we have our center unit. Let's press that. We'll press towards the center. Set that center unit aside, and now we're going to make those outside units. So on the center, we're going to have a flying geese unit, and then we're going to also have 2 corner blocks on the outside. So I'll lay those out, make sure they're the right way, and then we're going to make 2 of those. So I am definitely going to do a little bit of chain piecing here. And now we're going to sew those final 2 blocks on the opposite outside corners. Now we'll clip those threads and we're going to press again. Now, because we pressed that center block on the center row towards the insides, these blocks, we want to make sure we press towards the outside so those seams will just nest together almost perfectly. I am definitely not a perfect piecer, and I don't think you should have to aspire to that either. So we're going to make it as close to perfect as we can. Now that we have those units all sewn, we're going to piece those onto the outside of that center unit. Now you guys, you could totally use pins and make this so much more precise and so much more accurate. That's just not me. So if you want to, totally go ahead and do that. I am loving how this block is looking. If you do want to sew along with me, make sure you do pick up the piecing workbook over on our website, pieceandquilt.com. And there we have it, the finished Mosaic star block. I love this block. Let me run press it, and then we'll be back with all the finishing details. And there you have it. I hope you found just a little bit of inspiration from today's machine piecing video. And if you're just starting to sew along with me, we do have an amazing Facebook group called Let's Stitch a Year of Stars. We would love to see your progress over in our group. We have lots of fun, an amazing community over there, but also giveaways. So make sure you share your progress in our group. Have a great day, everybody.